All right, let's talk about something that can really put a damper on a good kratom experience. That feeling of nausea. It's a real bummer. But here's the thing, it's almost always something you can prevent. So, in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into why it happens and, more importantly, what you can do to manage it for good.
So, what's the deal here? Is the link between kratom and nausea a real thing? Oh yeah, for sure. They are definitely connected. But, and this is a big but, it's not some random lottery. 9 times out of 10, it boils down to one of two things: your dose or how you're taking it.
And here's the most important part, the thing I really want you to take away from this. You do not have to just suffer through it. Yep, it's a common problem, but it's totally manageable. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you can get a handle on this.
Okay, first things first. If we're going to solve this, we've got to understand where it's coming from, right? So let's pull back the curtain and look at the real reasons this nausea thing happens in the first place.
So, when you really look at it, a lot of the causes, they all kind of point back to one big thing: dosing. I mean, the most obvious one is just taking too much, right? You overwhelm your system. But it's more nuanced than that. It's also about finding the perfect dose for your own body, your tolerance, and even the way you take it matters. That classic toss and wash method, for some people, that's a one-way ticket to feeling sick.
But wait, it's not just about the dose. It's also about how your individual body reacts. You know, taking it on an empty stomach can give you quicker effects, but it might also really irritate your stomach. And for some folks, their digestive system just doesn't love processing all that plant fiber. And let's be real, the taste. That bitterness alone can be enough to make your body say, nope, not a fan.
Okay, and there's one more big piece to this puzzle: the kratom itself. Think about it. If you're using a low-quality product, something that might be contaminated, who knows what you're putting in your body? That's just asking for a bad reaction. Same thing with mixing different strains. If you don't know how they're going to play together, you might be in for a nasty surprise.
All right, so now we know the why. Let's get to the good stuff, the how to fix it. This next part is all about prevention. This is your personal toolkit for making sure your experience is a good one every time.
You know, one of the easiest changes you can make comes down to a simple trade-off. Sure, taking it on an empty stomach might hit you faster, but the downside? A much, much higher risk of nausea. On the other hand, if you have a light meal beforehand, yeah, it might take a little longer to kick in, but you're giving your stomach a nice little cushion, and that seriously drops your risk of feeling sick.
Let's walk through a super simple 4-step routine that can make a world of difference. First up, step 1, nail down your dose. Seriously, start small, like 1 gram, and work your way up slowly to find what works for you. Step 2 is all about prepping your stomach. If you know you're a bit sensitive, popping an antacid about half an hour before can be a total game changer. For step 3, make it tasty. Adding stuff like ginger, honey, or lemon to a tea doesn't just hide the taste, it actually helps soothe your stomach. And finally, step 4, mix it up. Rotate the strains you use. This is great for keeping your tolerance from getting too high, which is another secret to keeping nausea away.
Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes, even when you try to do everything right, you might still feel a little off. Or maybe you just got the dose wrong. It happens. So what do you do in that oops moment when the nausea is already knocking at the door? Let's talk quick relief.
All right, if you're starting to feel that wave of nausea, stop what you're doing. Your number one priority, your very first move, is to hydrate. Seriously, don't brush this off. Just sipping on some water can help dilute everything in your stomach. It helps flush your system. Honestly, it's often the single best thing you can do to feel better fast.
So while you're sipping on that water, there are a couple of other quick soothers you can try. You know how peppermint is great for settling an upset stomach? Well, it works here too. Try inhaling some peppermint essential oil, or making a quick cup of peppermint tea. And just like we mentioned for prevention, a simple over-the-counter antacid can be your best friend, helping to calm down that stomach acid.
Now, and this is super important, please listen up. Everything we just talked about, those are just simple home remedies. If you're feeling really, really sick, or if the feeling just isn't going away, please stop trying to fix it yourself. The smartest, safest thing you can do is to talk to a healthcare professional. Period.
Okay, let's bring this all home. I want to talk about one final thing that might just be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. Let's call it the quality connection, because honestly, it's the foundation that everything else is built on.
This quote right here really says it all. Ensuring the kratom is pure and free from contaminants can prevent adverse reactions. Just let that sink in for a second. So many of the problems we've discussed can be completely avoided from the get-go just by making sure you're starting with a high-quality product.
So you're probably asking, how do I know if it's a quality product? Well,
You want to find a vendor you can trust, someone who's more like a partner in this. They should be totally transparent, showing you proof that their stuff is high quality and clean. We're talking third-party lab tests. They should also give you all the details about the product and super clear recommendations on dosing. That's how you know you're making a smart, safe choice.
All right, we've covered a lot. We talked about why nausea happens, how to stop it before it starts, and what to do if it shows up anyway. From dialing in your dose to picking a great vendor, you now have the entire toolkit. You're in the driver's seat. So the real question isn't whether you can have a better experience, it's what are you going to do with this knowledge to make that happen?